Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast. I am your girl, Davina, and I am so grateful that you decided to tune into this episode of the Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast. Before we get into this episode and I introduce my divine guest, I just want to, touch base. I have not been doing podcasts in a while. To be honest, I am still on a little sabbatical from doing them, but I had to make an exception to get my divine guest on today. And we're doing this during lunchtime. Usually I record in the evening, but this is a special episode. So I hope everybody is doing well. I know people's mental health is really struggling right now. So I hope that you guys are doing your best to take care of yourself, seek therapy or any mental health support you may need, as well as just making sure you are taking care of yourself, doing that self care, showing yourself self love and all the good things. Also, make sure you are following us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as Divinely Crown is getting a facelift. So divinelycrown.com is getting a facelift. So make sure you put your information in if you go to our website so that you can be the first to know when we are back up and running. And as well as making sure you are following Divinely Crown on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I also might as well just let y'all know that I have started a new Instagram as well. It's going to be called That's So Davina, and that's going to be my modeling and fashion influencing page, which I'm so excited to even talk a little bit more with my divine guest today. So, without further ado, let me introduce my divine guest to y'all, Miss Carlisa Lynn. Why don't you introduce yourself to the people?
All right, hold on, y'all. Let me bump up my
Yeah,
chair.
we already acting up.
I was waiting. Okay, I'm a little small. Okay. All right. So I am originally from Erie, Pennsylvania, on the Lower East Side. Shout out to my people
Woo, woo.
down the way. But So yeah, I am a mother of two boys. I am a model, entrepreneur, a YouTuber, a business owner, a model coach, pose coach, a content creator, just a lot of stuff. I don't even
She's
know
a
like what else to
listen.
even
She's
say.
a she's a
Um,
heavy entrepreneur out here.
yeah,
Okay.
like coaching for like content classes, model classes. I actually just hosted my very first model class here in
Mm-hmm.
Erie, Pennsylvania, my hometown.
Yep.
So that was very exciting for me. I've been thinking about doing this for like 2 years or so. But so yeah, that's a little bit about
Just
me,
a
I
little
guess.
bit for
Yeah, just
now.
a little bit.
Just a little bit. Let me make sure I tag you in this so your people know to watch along. But
Okay.
yeah, she's definitely being a little humble right now, y'all. But we're gonna get into more of who she is, what she does, and how she does it. So before we do that, I always like to share, how I am connected or know my divine guest. And Carlisa and I have known each other for quite a few years now. I think the
Yeah.
first time we were social media friends, but then we met at a women's expo that you
Yeah.
did. I spoke at and you were a vendor at
Yeah.
for, and so I remember our first picture. I got to do side by side of that, of where we were and now where we're at. But yeah, so she's always just been so sweet, and I've always just been inspired by her modeling. If you guys know me by now, you know that I've always been an aspiring plus size model. Not always, but like for the last few years. So she's definitely been inspiring to me, even just like she said, she's a content creator and her content is just so fire. And so just following along in her journey, we have been connected. We got connected even more in this last year because, like she said, she just did her first modeling class, and I had some I reached out to her about a location And just from there, we've became friends, I would like to say, and
Yes.
just been really working together to help each other and support each other along our journeys of just chasing our dreams. So I'm so excited to have her on. Like she said, she just did her first Modeling 101 sold out class. Okay, by the way, her first class ever. She brought it back to her hometown. You say you live in Atlanta,
Yeah.
right? So she
Mhm.
lives in Atlanta. How long have you lived there now?
I think like it's a long story because I
Yeah.
went back and forth. But I believe maybe so like 7 years.
7 years. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
7.
Yeah. So she will, and we'll definitely get into that journey. But yeah, so she literally brought this class back and poured into her hometown, which I think is beautiful. And like I said, we'll get into. But also, I want to remind you guys to get in the comments, talk to us, ask questions. We like to answer them and we like to talk back. So let's get into this conversation. So, Carlisa, Divinely Crowned Conversations is all about where we come from, where we're at, and where we're going in our journey, building our queendoms and becoming the queens we are destined to be. So I always like to take it back to the beginning.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
tell me about who was little Miss Carlisa that lived on Lower East Side in Erie, Pennsylvania?
So like how deep do we gotta get into
I
this?
mean,
Okay,
whatever.
because I be
Listen, this
telling
is
stories.
this is whatever you want to say, and if you get too deep, I'll bring you back. Okay.
Okay. I mean, like I just be like telling the full story, but I just don't, if
You're
it's too
good.
much.
Whatever you would listen. This is all about being real, honest, and
Oh yeah.
transparent. Whatever you want to share, it's all about you, girl.
Okay. Well, just so like ever since since I literally can remember, I just remember, I was always outgoing, always wanted to be, always a little fashionista,
Mm-hmm.
always. When I was like really young, maybe like I don't even know, maybe like 7, 6. I actually seen some pictures of me when I was like 3, 4, like all
Mm.
done up with like the fake little rings and like, little trying to put makeup on and stuff like that when I was
Yeah.
had my hair in rollers and stuff like that when I
Mm-hmm.
was real small. So that's just something about me. I've always been into taking pictures. I used to take my mom's disposable cameras and they always used to just be of me, snap, snap, snap. Or like I also like to take pictures of other things as well. So those would always be filled.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a lot of those as memories I got from my mom still.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing just to look back on. But I used to take my aunt's camera. I used to sneak it at nighttime because that was when the digital cameras first started
Oh
coming
my
out. I
gosh.
used to go in her room when she was at work, or like I would sneak in there and just try to get her digital camera. I would sneak on
Mm-hmm.
her computer at
Oh my
nighttime,
goodness.
put the
And how
memories.
old were you?
I was a girl. I
She's
don't even
like
know,
young.
like
I
middle
love that
school,
though.
element, maybe I don't know, maybe like
Mm-hmm.
10 or
Mm-hmm.
something. And then I used to, I've always been on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I love being on the computer, just
Mm-hmm.
posting things, taking pictures. I would, go on Tumblr all the time. I was a Tumblr gal. Like I would go on to MySpace. I used to do
Oh, good old
MySpace
MySpace.
layouts.
Yes,
I
I
used to do
love me some
everyone's
I wish I
layouts.
could do my login for MySpace. I love
Yes.
MySpace.
I would do everyone's layouts, like their vectors, like
Oh,
like how
wow.
I have like the
Yeah.
lines in the background, and I would
Yes.
like make everyone's pictures. So I was just like very interactive with that. I would, there was no selfie sticks or no what is it called, tripods
Tripods.
or anything
Mhm.
like that. So I used to stack whatever I could find. I would stack it up. Whether it's like a basket or like a container to put your clothes in, or
Yeah.
just girl a box of macaroni and cheese, just whatever. I would
Jesus.
stack it up just so it would be at the right angle for me to take my
Mhm.
pictures. And on the old school cameras, it still have the self timer because I didn't have no
Mhm.
one to take my pictures.
Mhm.
My younger sister, she was like a baby at
Yeah.
the time. So my mom, they just didn't know what I was doing. So I
Mhm.
would do that to take all my pictures. Was just always doing that, yeah, all the
So where do you
time.
feel like that came from for you? Because I mean, people know my story, and I was a little insecure girl, growing up. So
Mhm.
like, where do you feel like your love for maybe the camera or just even tech? It seems like you were
Oh
you were
yeah,
into
very,
like STEM and all those things,
yeah,
content creating, like
yeah.
before it was a thing. So like, where do you feel like that came from?
I honestly don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. Like I've always been into it. Like I've always, I don't know, like I'm just always like, I need to get on the computer. Like
Might
I want
be
to
a
go on the computer.
gift. You
Or like,
you was born this way.
yeah, like, and then like even flip phones, like, that
Wow.
was me. And then I also used to take the laptop, the big old laptops back in the day. And I used to sit, we didn't have Wi-Fi or anything like that because I would live with my grandparents. They were very old school. So but I used to sit outside in the back door, and I would sit out there because someone else had Wi-Fi in the area, and it was Motorola. It was Motorola Wi-Fi. I always used to connect to that one, so I don't know who was over there.
Shout out to Motorola Wi-Fi
on Reed Street. Back in the day, I used to take their Wi-Fi, and that's when I used to sit out there for hours trying to like stay with the connection because it would go in and out, and that's not what just be doing all my things on the computer. I would sit out there. It's freezing outside. I would still be outside trying to get the Wi-Fi. Like no one even knows that I really was doing this for real.
Oh my god.
And but yeah, so that's just like I don't know where it came from. It's just, I guess, a natural gift. I never like, as like social media started getting a little bit more popular, before Instagram and stuff like that, but like the Tumblr girls started coming out. Like I would always like to watch India Love. That was like a big one for me. Like she was actually probably like the main one for me, only one actually. But and that's like when I started getting like, inspirations and stuff like that. But before that even happened, like it was just solely just myself. But that's just a little bit about like where I really started with taking pictures and like the love for everything. And like how you said, with being insecure, I was also insecure as well. I was very insecure as well, but I don't know, like it was just when I just took pictures, I just felt like I was that girl. It was like when I went to school or something, like, I was always try to like be a little extra and make myself a little extra because I felt like the thing was I really didn't wear makeup at all until I moved to like Charlotte, and I moved there before I moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
And then I started wearing makeup for real when I went to Atlanta. So I never really wore makeup like that, but it was just like, I guess not really having like that really loving family or like that, like, I didn't have a father in my life, and just like that type of stuff, or like, I was like an only child for like 10 years. So I always felt like I was like the outcast in my family. Like I always felt like, every time when it came to me, it was just like a different type of thing. And the one who really stood by my side the whole time was my papa.
Okay.
And so that was like my main person above everybody in my family. So and then like he had passed away like in 2021. So that was like a really hard time for me. But he was like my main person that always like, taking me, picking me up wherever I needed to go, say I looked nice and stuff like that. But there wasn't like a lot of like love or like support or anything from my family at all. So I feel like that also kind of made me feel like as if I wasn't like good enough or something like that. Or every time like I would be the one to always take pictures, and like my family would be like, oh, why you always taking all those pictures? Or like, like basically kind of like not really include me because they knew I like to take pictures, but like they would kind of be like, if that makes sense.
Yes, I totally get what you're saying there. And maybe like a little jealousy and maybe So would you? From what you're even sharing, it seems like doing all these taking pictures and content creating was more so like it was a way of escaping your reality. Would you say that?
I mean, yeah, I could say that because I felt like that like brought me to home. Like I don't know, I felt like that's where I belong. I guess because like things with my family, I couldn't really talk to them or anything like that. So I really just did everything like on the side without them even like didn't even like know or anything, or like if they see me doing it, they didn't like care to ask about nothing.
I have real quick. I have Miss Damo, my one of my divine guests. She said, "Hey y'all," and then she said, "People def be hating." I get that all the time. Oh well, shoot, I love you. Okay, we love you here.
Oh yeah, Damo, you already know. Yes, for sure. And I appreciate all the love that you show me.
Yes, no, Damo is definitely like I'm all about queens supporting queens, and Damo is definitely one of the queens that be supporting. Shouting out. So y'all definitely got to go back and listen to her interview that I did with a few months ago.
I didn't even listen
to it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Listen. I got all the queens. Okay. I get all the queens. But yeah, so we were talking about just like that way of escape for you. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that is might have been a reason you probably started, was to
Yeah.
kind of use that as an escape. So I know you said your papa was a big part of your life. So
Mhm.
you want to share a little bit of that relationship?
Yeah, so like it was a little bit of a weird relationship.
Okay.
So, but it's just I always knew like deep in my heart, like that was, you
He
know what I mean?
loved
Like
you.
we just
Mm-hmm.
knew the
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah.
But it was never like, I would just always be, he would love to just be driving all over the city and like showing everything. He's originally from New York.
Okay.
So he would always talk about back home and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he just always wanted to take me everywhere. He always made sure I was fed, always made
Mm-hmm.
sure I need if took me to school, or he always just made sure I was good
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
And he kind of like, because I lived with them like my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was like his other daughter.
Oh
And
yeah.
there wasn't really like a lot of good relationships with him and his, because my papa he had 4 daughters.
Okay.
So they didn't have no boys or anything. So it
Wow.
was a lot that they went through. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the energy that I gave off as a
Mm-hmm.
child, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like he never really had that
That
energy. And I feel
yeah.
like
Yeah.
because that basically within their family, like their daughters and my grandma and stuff, like it was very toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt
Mm-hmm.
like when I had came into the picture, like just I don't know, like naturally the energy, he kind of like felt a little bit
Mm-hmm.
different, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more open to me.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the type of person he was. But like he was a mean person, but like he's just he's very old school.
Yeah. I
Like
was gonna say them old school grandpas
whatever
be
he says
okay.
goes. Like he's gonna let you know if he don't like you. You know
Mm.
and I was just the one that he did like.
Yeah. So when you said real quick, Damo, she said, "Thanks, lady." She said, "So much beauty in the air." Yes, there is, and you are welcome. So you talk about, you kind of were like you were insecure as well, but you
Yes.
also talk about having a male figure that was like spoke his mind and said what he felt. So like,
Yeah.
how do you feel, did that help you in any way with maybe becoming who you are now, or did that ever inspire you to be like, my papa was this way, like, or
yeah, a lot of things, like like when I'm getting firm with things, or
mm-hmm,
like what is it, like definitely for sure, but like just like certain things that like standards he had, and certain
mm-hmm,
things like I remember. And like just the things that he would really take time to like stop and enjoy, like
mm,
whether it would be like nature and stuff like that.
mm-hmm,
I feel like from
mm-hmm,
him always taking me outdoors, and like him caring for his yard, like
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
just how his house looks,
yeah,
like that really kind of like really like reflected onto me, because
mm-hmm,
that's how I
mm-hmm,
am. Like he cared about the animals. He
mm,
cared, and that's how I am as well.
yeah,
He cared about the cats that we had, and like and I have my cats still to this day.
oh,
And like we had like a dog or two. But
mm-hmm,
so like those certain things. And I guess with him being very blunt as well, like
mm-hmm,
that's just the
mm-hmm,
type of person I am. There are certain things that I do kind of like to stray away from, just because I know that the energy that conversation can bring. So I
mm-hmm,
kind of like distance myself from certain
mm,
situations, but
mm-hmm,
I have learned a little bit more to like approach them in a certain type of way,
mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm.
certain things like that.
And that,
But
oh, I like how you said that, because I know that that's always a big topic, like, just being aware of what you say, what atmosphere you're in, what energy
yeah.
you're around. So like, is that something that you feel like you had to learn over time, or that was kind of because of him that was instilled in you?
I feel like it started from him, and like
Mhm.
I got it from him, but it didn't really like fully flow through me until
Mhm.
like I went through a lot of things, and then like I
Mm.
came back to home. So we're like, I do remember this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially from, not like, cause he didn't really teach me like a lot of like father figure
Mhm.
things,
Mhm.
but he was just kind of like, there for me, if
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. For sure.
But
For
I
sure.
feel like, due to maybe traumas that he had maybe
Mhm.
had, and like
Mhm.
with the, how his family and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
just I feel like due to me not having a father figure, like an actual father in my life.
Mhm.
And like my mom kind of like wasn't fully there. Like I know I
Mhm.
don't want to say nothing
Mhm. Mhm.
crazy,
That's
but
okay.
like
Mhm.
my grandparents was the one
Mhm.
who like
Mhm.
really held it down for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
So like not really basically having like parents for real.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or like anyone to really look up to or help guide me. So
Mhm.
like there was like a lot of things um very early on that I had to kind of like take the role of, I
Mhm.
guess,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
where you make like a lot of mistakes. Obviously everyone's gonna
Well,
make
yeah.
mistakes
Right. Right.
throughout their life, but
Mhm.
it really caused me to go through a lot of things that I wish I wouldn't have went through. But
Mhm.
obviously if you don't go through those things, it may not make you into the person that you are
Mhm.
today.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I really like learned to embrace those things,
Mhm.
and not really want to switch those things,
Mhm.
because it is what it is at the end of
Yeah,
the
for
day.
sure.
um but yeah, I feel like just really women, I feel like we become a lot stronger when
Mhm.
we don't have a father figure or we
Mm.
don't have any type of guidance.
Mhm.
That's like a different type of cut woman. Like
Mm.
rather than someone that has that full family,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
story, and
Mhm.
that's the blessing to be able to
Mhm.
have. So
Mhm.
whoever does have that, like appreciate that,
Mhm.
because you have that extra comfort. You have like that extra layer that
Mhm.
we never have, and it's kind of like an empty
Mhm.
hole right
Mhm.
there,
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
makes
Thank you.
sense.
Yeah, it does. Thank you for sharing that. I
Hmm.
want to ask you, with you saying, that what you just said, like, what advice maybe would you give somebody who is growing up like that now? You just did a class with young women that may have been in the same situation as you, going through the same situation. Like, what advice would you give them to keep pushing through, or, to deal with that journey they might be on, with like that desire to have that type of father figure, or a father figure, or a mother figure, or any type of those relationships with a parent? Like, is there anything you've learned along the way, or have had to teach yourself along the way, that has really helped you become a better version of yourself now?
Well, one thing I would say is that one thing that really kept me, I just felt like naturally, like I just knew there was something better for me. And I
Mhm.
feel like, regardless of what any of your family or friends, I used to get bullied a lot as well.
Mm.
Um, and talked about and stuff like that, when people really didn't know like your true story.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I kind of like had to learn to like block all of that out. And if you
Mhm.
know that you are destined to be someone, or you're
Mhm.
destined to go somewhere,
Mhm.
regardless of whatever city that you come from, that you just know deep down inside, and you have to like really push yourself to like
Mhm.
get over to the other side of
Mhm.
other side of the street, if that
Mhm.
makes
Mhm. Mhm.
like you just have to do it. I don't know. I just I had something like the modeling thing, like just stick with like really whoever is saying anything negative to you, or like things that don't align with how your brain is thinking,
Mhm.
and like your gut inside.
Mhm.
Literally just X everything out. That's all poison around you. So you
Mhm.
need to you like eliminate all the poison around you, and just even if you can't get out, because I was in a toxic household as well, like just very kind of like learn to like isolate yourself, and like really figure out like this is the steps that I need to take.
Mhm.
um Focus on the results rather than just all the work that it's going to take to get there. But I feel like just really trusting yourself and really diving in deep to who you truly
Mhm.
are. Not based off of like how we talked about at the
Mhm.
model class,
Mhm.
like not based off of your name, or not based off of the neighborhood you grew up in, or not based off of your race or your ethnicity or the size of your body,
Mhm.
because that's not. Yeah, I feel like once I started tapping in and learning internally who I was,
Mhm.
and really tapping in spiritually with myself, that really helped me and take things to the next level.
Mhm.
Rather than when it was a lot more depressing for me to look at myself through the outside of myself rather than being on the inside.
Mhm.
And that's something that I really feel like helped me along the way, and strengthened me as I got to learn myself a lot more. And so like the main thing for me was like, I really wanted to get out of that house. Like I
Mhm.
wanted to get out of the house. I wanted to get away from my family. I just knew that I just was the outcast from everyone.
Mhm.
And with having that drive, you just have to want it so bad,
Mhm.
to where like you just gonna do whatever it takes to get there. So
Mhm.
like, I didn't really have like a full blown plan. And I know a lot of people say like to have like, don't do this if you don't have a plan
Mhm.
A, plan B. I didn't have nothing. Like
Listen.
I was like, you know what? I traveled to Atlanta a couple times And I started building my social media based on my Instagram in
Mhm.
high school, and I started getting up to 10K, 15K. Like I
Mhm.
started growing my social media accounts, and I started networking, and I really just was like out of the whole city for real. Like I was
Mhm.
just like in my social media, like I'm gonna get out of this
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
So I went there and started networking with people. I drove to Atlanta by myself.
Mm.
Um,
How old were you?
um, maybe like 18
Mhm.
or something like that. 18, 19. But
Real quick,
yeah.
don't want to get too far from something you did say about the plan. Like some people
Mhm.
say you have to have a plan, and I'm
Mhm.
realizing like you're one of the people like just do it, just do it. And sometimes yes, it's
Mhm.
great to have a plan, but sometimes if you want to take that chance, it's like if you have an idea and you want something so bad, like you said, like I started putting in that action. So yes, it's good to have a plan, and sometimes your plan is just the thought, right?
Yeah.
And then just taking action on that thought, and sometimes just
Mhm.
figuring it out as you go, because I think
That's
a lot of
exactly.
times we do have all these great plans, and I'm one of them who has all these great plans
Oh
but isn't
yeah.
taking the action.
Me.
You know what I
I've done
mean?
that so
And
many
I
for
know
years.
yes, and it's normal because we're so caught up on the what if this goes wrong, that we don't take those chances. And the times you do take the chance, like you did, you said I drove all the way to Atlanta by
Yeah.
myself at, you said, how old were you?
I was
Like
probably like 18,
18,
19.
19, and you're like, listen, I'm gonna make a way out of my situation.
Mhm.
And yes, that might not work for everybody,
No, yeah.
but it has worked this far for you, even with the
Exactly.
bumps or whatever has gone along. But I
Mhm.
just think that's when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's true. Like we do sometimes wait on plans, and okay, this
Oh
plan has
yeah.
to be this way and it has to go this way. And I always like there's a message I watched, and the guy was like, write your dreams in marker, but write the way to get there, or the direction in pencil, because you never know if that direction's actually going to happen. So like
Mhm.
you said, yeah, those ideas you had, this is what I want out of my life, this is my
Yeah.
dream, and I'm just going to take the
And
action.
I didn't even have the full dream. I just knew like
Listen,
I'm getting
out of
out. Like I can't do it anymore.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and just with like even like the boys I was talking to, like
Mhm.
relationships and like
Mhm.
talking, like it was just like not for me.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
really just also, the things I do still remember that, things that they said and stuff like that, it just really hits deep.
Mhm.
So it's like, and then like, like what I like, this is basically like a little bit of, not really a plan, but this things like how I really got started to where like before I even started driving to Atlanta, I I use my surrounding cities around the area
Mhm.
because I was scared obviously to go. I wasn't really thinking about going to Atlanta before that, so I'm just gonna rewind a second.
Mhm.
So like I on my social medias and stuff like that, um I would reach out to some photographers and stuff like that. I went to Cleveland a lot. I was
Mm.
always in Cleveland. So Cleveland was only like an hour and a half drive away.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I used to always go to Cleveland. I actually got booked for my first clothing brand photo shoot when I went over there, and it was for Crush Cleveland or something like
Okay.
that. And I don't even know if they're still open, but it was kind of like a urban um, streetwear type of store.
Mhm.
But I had got booked over there, and I was like so happy. And then I used to go to Pittsburgh. I used to drive to Pittsburgh all the time, and I did like a power shoot. And a power shoot is where there's multiple photographers
Okay.
and multiple models, and you kind of will pay like a certain like a set price, and then you'll be able to like work with whoever is kind of like in alignment with yourself.
Mhm.
And I used to go and do those, and I used to get like multiple different types of photo shoots.
Mhm.
And then I did like a calendar shoot over there in Pittsburgh. Those pictures and that stuff is crazy, but I don't mind sharing those as well.
Mhm.
But I used to go there and do that. I went to Rochester, New York.
Mhm.
I used to drive over there. So I was like looking for all the opportunities. I actually went and signed with a company. I believe I may, if I get her name wrong, please forgive me. But there was a girl that lived, a woman that lived in Erie, and her name was, I don't know if you know her, Carrie Patterson. I don't know exactly her
Okay.
last name, but I think it was. Some people from here are gonna know, but I
Mhm.
know she was like a petite model.
Okay.
Um, and she was very beautiful. But I think I would start connecting with her, and she connected me with the people in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
And she ended up moving, I think, over there or somewhere else. And she and I used to talk a lot. And then I ended up signing with the agency that she was with. So
Mm.
it was called DCP Models in Rochester, New York. So I used to go over there all the time, and I used to shoot with um Good News Photography in
Okay.
Rochester. And I also was with oh my gosh, Lay. I know he's like I forgot her whole name.
She's from Erie.
Yes, and
I
she
forget.
she
I know who
moved,
you're talking about
and
though.
I know I'm so sorry if she's
Yeah.
gonna watch
Listen,
this,
it's
but
okay.
she makes
Listen.
all like
You
the
know her
personal
heart.
clothes. Yeah,
Oh,
she,
yeah.
you know who I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
Dej.
Yes,
I'm
Dej
trying to get
Lay.
Dej Lay on here
Yes,
too.
yes.
She gonna get on. I've reached out to her, but yes, Dej Lay. Yeah.
Yes. So I was really in my beginning stages. I was starting with
Mm-hmm.
her because me and her were with the same agency.
Okay.
So it was me, her, and Carrie, and like a couple other girls from New York.
Okay.
And then that's like the main three cities that I used to always go to. And then, I was like, okay, this isn't really doing as much as I wanted to do. And I feel like Atlanta may have a lot more opportunities for me. That's
Okay.
when I started driving to Atlanta. I really wanted to move to LA because I feel like I have more of an LA look. And it's really about branding yourself, but I didn't have the LA money.
Okay.
Coming from Erie on the Lower East Side and poverty, it's very hard. So I had an opportunity to move with a friend from high school, Ajale. A lot of y'all probably know her, but she ended up moving to North Carolina, Charlotte, and then I had an opportunity that I moved with her and helped. We helped each other out. And I stayed down there, did a couple shoots, and then I, it was a little bit slow for me. So I wanted to do things a lot more, I wanted to do a lot more things and get involved. So then I was either LA or Atlanta. So I ended up moving to Atlanta from Charlotte.
Okay.
And then, I just started going crazy. Me and my, also along this whole entire time, my boyfriend to this day right now
Shout
has
out to her
moved with
bae.
me. Yeah,
Yes.
shout out to Bae.
He seems very supportive.
Yes, so he's very understanding with everything since I met him, and he has moved with me from Erie to Charlotte to Atlanta.
Wow.
And has moved with me, and I just was like, I'm leaving, like and he just came with me. Like
That's
he
what's
didn't
up.
really, he was scared at the time, and he ended up moving, and he was tripping, about going to Atlanta from Charlotte because he was, and then we only saved up like 2-3 thousand, like maybe between the both of us. Like I don't know who we thought we was going to Atlanta with that little bit of
dream
money.
chasers.
And we went there, and I found this. We got this apartment. I only had like 2 days because I didn't live there, so I had to go back to work in Charlotte. So I ended up, finding a place. I thought it was the best thing in the world, and girl, no, it was. I ended up finding it was a 1-bedroom apartment. It was like 900 a month or whatever, and that was like already taken out of our money from the little money that we saved. So we did go a very long time without furniture, sleeping on the floor, sleeping on a mat, shopping at Dollar Tree to get groceries. Like literally, I almost couldn't pay for my rent. I had to ask someone back in Charlotte to help me out how to get a credit card. Like it was really bad. And my boyfriend didn't have a job, I didn't have a job. And it was at rock bottom. And I was like, that's when I really had opened up my eyes, like, damn, like I'm really not gonna be able to go back. Like I'm not going all the way back to Erie. Like, I'm just gonna make it work. So I started.
So real quick, I want to get in and then I have to ask you. So we have Ray. She said, hey, she's one of my divine guests. And my little sis, she's a model too, Kiki. She said 2 bosses in 1 video. Wow, I'm tuned in. Hello, little sister. We can't wait. I can't wait to have you on here too, honey. Yes. But so what do you feel like? Even just that beginning, because I mean, this is a journey you've been on.
I'm telling you everything, like raw, uncut, like,
raw.
Seriously.
So what did that even teach you just about yourself? Like that was a huge thing to do. First of all, move out of Erie, with pretty much just you and your boyfriend and what that little bit of money that you had. But like, what do you feel like that taught you about yourself?
Girl, I don't need like just do it. Like
just do
I
it like Nike.
like just stop overthinking and just, not care what anybody has to say.
Yeah.
And just, I left everything behind. I said, Like, this is, it's my
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
I only get one shot. I
Mhm.
don't care if these people aren't going to be here for me,
Mhm.
regardless if it's family or not. But it
Mhm.
really just taught me a lot of independence,
Mhm. Mhm.
to trust myself, to know
Mhm.
my worth.
Yeah.
Even though that has been up and down
Mm.
throughout the years,
Mhm.
but now I know now,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But you know that you can do whatever you put your mind to.
Mhm.
That just to go with it. Like,
Mhm.
I don't. That really just taught me, like, just all of that. It's like a whole combination of everything, like a
Mhm.
whole mix of everything.
Mhm.
And like, there's gonna be people that also that you feel like may be there for you, that may, is going to show your true colors
Yeah.
eventually along the way. A lot of us like to hang on to family
Mm.
members and friends, and it's very hard for us to let go, just because we've known this person for 10 years, or we've
Mhm.
known this person for this amount of time, or we shared these certain experiences with these people. But at the end of the day, everyone, I say, is very temporary.
Mhm.
The ones that are going to be a part of your team, and you guys are both a part of each other's team, you guys will know who those people
Yeah.
are. Like, you
Yep.
don't
You know
have to
your
ask
tribe.
them to do
Mhm.
anything for you. You don't have to ask them to share your post. You don't have to ask them to support you. You don't have to
Mhm.
ask them for anything. They're just automatically going to do it
Mhm.
genuinely, because they want to see you win, and they
Mm.
they want to be there to support you.
Mhm.
And that was a big thing also that I had learned along the way, because from coming from the street that I grew up on, and the schools that I went to, and the
Mhm.
things that I went to, and going along the way, there was a lot of people that I thought was there for me,
Mm.
and that really were there shooting for me, the stars and everything. But those people started to fade away,
Mm.
as I started to distance myself. Like,
Mhm.
I wasn't in Erie no more, and then I left Charlotte. I had some friends in Charlotte. They all got
Mhm.
dropped off.
Mhm.
And I went to Atlanta. The people that I started with, once I got pregnant, people really fell off
Mm. Yeah.
and really showed the true colors, and especially even women that already had children. So it
Mm.
was very crazy for me to,
Mhm.
like, see these over the time, to see who
Mhm.
was really, like, I looked around like, damn, I don't have nobody but my
Mhm.
man, like,
Yeah.
and that was a big eye opener for me as well. We're like, even just family, cousins, friends,
Mhm.
whatever, like, they all got dropped off. They all just
Mm.
fell off the ship. And I'm like, like, so then I'm still out here, like, I don't really have like a full set team, because
Yeah.
I'm just not with the fake love, the fake support. And as genuine and as hardworking and the heart that I have, like, I can't do it no more. So,
Mhm.
like, I'm just done pouring into. You have to learn to not pour into everyone. And
Mhm.
when your cup has been dry
Yeah. Can't pour
for
from empty cup.
years, if
Mhm.
your cup is dry, if no one can't really genuinely show you that love or that support that you're looking for, that they know what you have been through and are not, nothing for you, especially if you're pouring into them,
Mhm.
it's just, you have to let them go.
Yeah.
And you just have to let them go for real.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. I have
that's
Kiki. She
that
said,
big thing.
Kiki said, I'm glad she's telling how she started from the bottom. It's giving the motivation I need just up and leave. Yes,
Girl,
Kiki. This
even
is for
with
you.
a little bit of money, like,
Yeah.
I've gone negative accounts,
Mm.
I don't even know how long, like,
Listen.
negative, like, negative $500, negative $600. And I'm like, and my boyfriend's like, babe, like, he's not playing about that. Like, and I'd be like, it's gonna be okay.
We
Like,
gonna
everything's gonna
push
be all
through.
right. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get there. Like,
Mhm.
and that also goes back to things like when I had first moved to Atlanta. I didn't want to do all these music videos, and when I first came here, I
Mhm.
wanted to model, like, and
Mhm.
I'm shorter, so I got discouraged a lot with my
Mhm.
height.
Mhm.
And you know, I just music videos were like a big thing in
Mhm.
Atlanta. Like, they still are, like, girl,
Mhm.
every
That's
day.
the Black
And
Hollywood, I'm
girl,
sure.
yes,
Mhm.
everyone. So I was getting picked up, like, casting directors hitting me up. I was networking, going out to all these events, and they liked my look. I had a little, my little body and everything was,
Mhm.
nice. And just fit the niche of music video girls. So
Mhm.
I got booked to do a lot of music videos. I worked with a lot of, like, the top-notch celebrities. Like, you know, I used to go to Rick Ross's house all the time. I was so blessed to be in those situations and actually be just invited to go over there and chill and hang out, like just chilling. Like, girl, I'm from Erie.
Crazy, yeah.
I'm chilling at Rick Ross's house. Like, I'm chilling in his house. Like, are you serious
crazy.
right now? And then I met Wale when I was over there.
Wale,
I was talking to Wale.
Yeah.
And I met Meek Mill. You know, he's from PA. So I had a whole conversation with him. And then I met NBA Youngboy when he was first starting. Nicki Minaj, I had a little conversation with her. And that was just like just from like chilling and popping up over at Rick Ross's house. And I'm like, wow, like they're really like having me come over here. And you know, I was in a relationship the whole time. Nothing has ever happened. Like, you know, I'm not that type of girl. And they knew that.
Yeah.
And you know, I would get booked to do his pool parties that he would have. I would be a bottle, like doing like the bottles for Bel Air. You know, he's like affiliated with that brand. And I met Omarion. I met so many people that I would have never thought I would have met. And I'm like, you know, you really gotta like control yourself around them. You can't just
be all
groupie,
professional.
like, hey. Like, so, you know, I'm very like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And then I also got I did stuff with like little baby, Gucci. Girl, I love Gucci. Like back in the day in Erie, the little
Gucci was
peccadillos, and I used to just be. So when I met Gucci, I actually was around him a lot of times, and his energy around him, I was just like, oh my God. I'm with Gucci, like what? Like, and then like when they on one of the music videos I did. I did a lot of music videos. I did a 15-hour set with him. That's the one I was talking about when I had my heels on. 15-hour set for him. The basketball video I did, and that was crazy. But the one music video I did, it was with him and Offset. It was years ago, but I knew they were doing it on purpose, but like I seen his people taking pictures and I was standing next to him and I guess it looked like a good picture or whatever. And they took a picture of us behind the scenes from that music video. He posted that on his page and he didn't know my ad name, but like it went crazy. And then everybody started following me on my other account, which I don't have anymore, but that ended up happening. So that also, you know, helped with things. And then I don't even know. Like, there's a lot of, I met Future, Lil Uzi, like a lot of them. I'm just trying to name like a couple of names that I've met.
She done met a little bit of, she done met the BET Awards.
Like,
real quick, Kiki said, I love that it's going to be okay attitude. That's what I panic about, not knowing will it be okay. So yes, I need to keep that attitude. Yes, you do. Hey, listen. What's the worst that can happen is you don't do it. And then it's not okay because you didn't do it. And you're like, I wish I would have just took that chance. So take them chances, baby girl.
Girl, I came out negative.
and for you to
nothing
even
in my fridge. Like,
that's crazy.
Nothing.
So you're even like, I don't know what places you were at were even meeting those celebrities, but were you ever in those type of situations when you were like, so you're doing all these great things, but at home you're like, oh my God. And I think that speaks volumes to just you keep pushing through, you know what I mean? Because yes, we're not gonna always have that success right away, but like when you're chasing your dreams, like sometimes that is all the fuel and finance you need to like keep going.
Exactly. And the thing is, I wanted to say, just reminding me right now, is that one thing I did want to say, this is something that, you know, with not having no guidance, not having anyone, with me meeting, also I just want to say, I know he's older, but I had met Lil Bow Wow.
Oh, I love
that was
music.
like
I
one
have
of
a soft
my
spot for Little Bow Wow.
I just want to say, because I actually built a great connection with him. And you know, I'm not the one to fiend, because I guess like recently he got his phone stolen or whatever. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me get your number again. Like, you know. So I was just like, you know, whenever I see him, he's gonna connect with me. But I did get the chance to meet him and like you know, just build like a genuine connection with him. So he's really mad cool. One of my friends actually ended up going out with him. And that's the whole story. So but now she's like famous now. Wow. So but yeah, so I wouldn't say that. Like I was just listening to him and like watch him on like the movies and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, like I
That's
actually like, and
me.
I'm like chilling with this man,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just business wise, nothing more,
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
like that. But one thing I did want to say is that I feel like because coming from a lot of mental trauma,
Mm,
um, you know, like the lost child, I guess, like just a mental trauma,
mm,
not getting a lot of love, support, attention, care for, stuff like that. I feel like with that mental trauma, I used to be fighting a lot, like just a lot going on, bullying, all that type
mm-hmm,
of stuff, living in poverty, um, mental traumas. Also I want to say, not having a father, but that kind of like, with me along this journey, especially meeting and being put in these positions, in these places, I mentally, I knew how to like control myself, but on the other hand, I didn't know how to leverage those relationships.
mm-hmm,
I didn't
mm-hmm,
know how to, do it in a professional way. I didn't
mm-hmm,
know how to really like take this relationship or this connection to the next
mm-hmm,
level,
mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm.
where like that would bring me up a little bit
Yeah.
more, like a notch every single time.
Mm-hmm,
So I kind of just was like, very humble with them and very, just building genuine connection. Like I didn't really know what to like, have for my value to
mm-hmm,
offer to
mm-hmm,
them or
mm-hmm.
anything without me looking like I was just trying to get up.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and I didn't have I just mentally I just wasn't in the right space for me to be able to use those
mm-hmm.
relationships. Not like you just trying to use somebody, but you know what I mean? Like, because that's how people, it's just with the people that you know.
Yeah.
And with me meeting so many people, like actors, actresses, just everything, like designers, I just didn't know how to leverage myself, and I feel like
Mm,
that also kinda, like, put a back hold on myself,
mm.
for my success,
Yeah.
just because, God was putting me in these rooms, but I didn't know how to
Gotcha.
work the
Mhm,
room, and I
mhm.
didn't know how to
That
do
that
so.
reminds me of when I did the presentation this week, and we talked about the fear of failure,
Yes,
but
that's
then
mhm.
one of the girls asked, "Okay, but Davina, like, what about the fear of success?" And it's
Yes.
almost like
Mhm.
you were that's like kind of a level of success to be able to connect with all these celebrities pretty much.
Mhm.
And then you go, okay, well, what do I do with this? Like,
I didn't
how
know.
so you that was almost like a fear of success to say, like, dang, I'm in these rooms and now what do I do with this? Like, so
Mhm.
how do you feel like you've learned more now? Because that was like you've
Yeah, a
been
couple
doing this
years
for
ago.
years. So
Mhm.
like, do you feel like you're a lot better with learning how to make those business, maybe you would say, connections is what you feel like you might have lacked in?
Yeah, so excuse me, right
Mm-hmm.
now, so I don't want to just dim anybody's light or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but I just would say, y'all know a lot of stuff that be going on. I'm not gonna get into it,
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
the industries and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. A lot of it is true.
Mm-hmm.
I have been around a lot of different things, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like just, I'm a person of God,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't really want to get into too deep with
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of things, to where just with a certain level of success and a certain level of fame,
Yeah.
and uh, it's just not where I want to go with
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got into certain spaces, with certain people, and got certain information
Mm-hmm.
and things in front of my eyes, it kind of steered me away from the thing that maybe I kind of once wanted,
Mm.
to where everybody wants to be famous, everybody wants
Mhm.
to be the top number one, top notch,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of things that come with it. And I
Mm.
mean, not only for that way, but also like, just a lot of people seem to do things to escape,
Mm.
just because there's a lot of, people have to constantly be on the move, people constantly have to be, like I said, very extremely fast paced lifestyle. And I am a mother now, so like I don't want that to be affecting my family.
Mhm.
And so I had to really like overlook, like over analyze things and really kind of see things for what it was and not how
Mhm.
I wanted it to be.
Mm.
Because a lot of us think that everything is just glitz and glams, and to some people it may be, but I just genuinely want to be at a level to where I'm fully financially stable, to where, I don't have to worry about and look at a price tag for something. I'm not materialistic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't teach my children to be materialistic. I will definitely be the one to go to the Goodwill.
My
I will
girl,
definitely be
we
the
be
one to
FaceTiming, we
go on
both
the
be there.
sale. Like, I will, but then I do like
Yes,
to buy a
buy
couple
nice
50,
things
60,
too.
$100,
Listen,
$200
balance,
pieces.
okay.
So, but I would never knock anyone for,
Mm-hmm.
being in certain positions, but it kind of really just made me have a different perspective on things.
Mm.
So, but anyways, I feel like, right now I do know how to act accordingly into certain rooms. I do know how I have a lot more to offer, to
Yeah.
where, I know how to model. I know how to do creative direction. I can
Mm-hmm.
help any brand or, doesn't necessarily have to be a celebrity, but I can help with like music video, visuals and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. I'm getting into photography now. So I've been taking a lot of my younger sisters,
Mm.
my sister's pictures to develop her
Mm-hmm.
portfolio. I've been, I know how to coach models, so I can
Yep.
help that. I can do, content creation. So I have a lot that I can offer
Mm-hmm.
to people now, so that I can be more of more of a valuable person in
Resource.
the room as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm. For
So
sure.
I learned that, now I have a lot of these things and experiences under my
Mm-hmm.
belt of all things I naturally, genuinely love to do and have a passion for. So I know what to do and what not to do now,
Mm-hmm.
to where, I know how to make that connection go to the next level
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I think that, God is steering me in the correct way,
Mm-hmm.
to where it doesn't, you always don't necessarily, just because you aren't connecting with a celebrity doesn't mean that you're not, successful, or
Mm-hmm.
you're not making it necessarily. So I want everyone to understand that just because you're not with these certain celebrities, that doesn't, like, there are literally just people like us, but in a different, just a different
Tax bracket.
space. Yeah, different
Pretty
space as
much.
well.
Yeah.
And I just want none of y'all to feel like, that has to be y'all top goal, or
Mm-hmm.
going to be like where you guys necessarily make it to everyone else.
Yeah.
Um, you always want to define your own definition of success,
Mm-hmm.
to where, some people's success might be to be on a homestead, to like grow their own food and like to be able to just live off a grid, or some people
That's
might
what I
be
want
to
nowadays.
that's what I've been kind of leaning
Listen,
towards.
I want that.
And some people might just be to, like, if I can just move to, I'm gonna just say randomly, like Tennessee, and
Mm-hmm.
like just have my own nice house and my kids in a good school, or like whatever. And if you're making good money to where you're not struggling or anything like that, that's what, that can be your high level of success, to
Mm-hmm.
where you are making it. You don't necessarily need to be known by millions of people throughout the world.
Mm-mm.
Like, that doesn't,
I don't want to be no
because
funny.
you have to understand that once you get to a certain level like
Mm-hmm.
that, you're not going to be able to just go to the store.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to just walk down the street, because there's going to be people that want to take you down. There's
Mm-hmm.
going to be people that want to make money off of just taking pictures off of you.
Mm-hmm.
You just, your family might not be safe. Your man might not be safe. Like your grandparents might not be safe. So you have to take all of that into consideration, that
Yeah.
it's a lot that comes with that. So I just choose to be, fewer steps below that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay with me.
Yeah.
I don't need to have tens of hundreds of millions of dollars, because that does come with a lot of extra
New
things.
levels, new
And
devils sometimes.
that's what I'm saying. So I a million will be fine. I would be crazy to get a mil, like a mil profit, like that's amazing. But I don't
Yeah.
need to have 50, 100 mil. Like, I don't need all that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
okay, especially coming from Erie. That's a crazy success
Listen.
story.
Oh, it is. First of all, thank you for just even this time we've spent so
Yes.
far, and your transparency, and just your real honest, open, and transparent conversation you've been
I'll just be
having.
I don't have a
And I
problem.
love it though, because I feel like, I'm sure people do look at how far you've come when you're in Erie, because we and see and make assumptions, and they don't
They
know.
do.
They don't know. They don't know your journey. They don't know the truth, and only you can speak your truth. And
Yeah.
I love that you are open enough to share your truth. I have Jacayla, one of my other divine guests. Y'all
Hey,
all on here.
Jacayla.
She said, "Bosses, so proud of y'all. Thank you,
Thank
sugar.
you.
We proud of you."
Yes.
But okay, so we're gonna keep talking about this modeling, because
Yeah.
now you have, through all your journey, it has led you to this past weekend. What was it? September 16th.
Yes.
right? Okay. And you brought your very first modeling class, Modeling 101 by Carlisa Lynn. You brought it back to your hometown. And I really feel like, personally, I feel like you gave back to your hometown with this because you had 13, and myself included, women who are new and aspiring models come to your class. You had it at the PACA Center, which was a very beautiful space to have it. If you've never been to the PACA Center in Erie, I definitely recommend you follow their page and get connected because they have so many different things in that building. It's a historical building, so it's like in the history books or whatever.
I love it.
Or history. It's something, y'all. I don't know all the technical things, but it's stamped historical, but it just has so many different unique things in that building. But she had that there. I actually got the honor and pleasure of being the speaker for confidence, and it was a great experience. And I also was able to learn some expertise things from her as far as modeling. So tell me about the journey of building this class and also what might be next after this now that you done successfully completed. First of all, I will say Shay the GOAT, shout out to her. She was the runway model that Carlisa brought. And she's like, Carlisa, this was not a class. This was like a boot camp. And I said, you ain't lying. Our feet were hurting, but it was so good. And it was a full day. It was literally from 10:30. Some of the girls got there until after 6. Like we started, and it was just a full day of her giving, like she said, one-on-one modeling. So take me through that because I'll tell my experience, but you can go ahead and tell how we got here. How we get here, girl?
So like I was just actually looking at my posts from the past on Facebook.
That's why I always tell people, write your memories on you don't got to tell all the business. But write memories, write little bits and pieces of your dreams on your social media because it's so beautiful when you can look back. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like I was I always just be talking about stuff on Facebook, and sometimes I'm guilty, a lot of us are guilty of this, but like I have so many visions in my head. I have so many things that I want to do and things that I would like to do, but certain things, living in Atlanta is hard. Like, being a mother, I don't have family out there. So like it is hard. So sometimes, not everything is the best financially. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. So like, certain things, go up and down. And when I say certain things that I want to do, sometimes not everything falls into place properly to where I'm able to execute what I did say that I wanted to do. So there may, like, basically I was talking about doing this class like almost 3 years ago. Wow. And I thought it was like last year, but it was actually like almost 3 years, 2021.
Wow.
So in February, and I think it was probably like a couple posts before that. So it's almost the end of this year. It's going to be almost February. So I'm like, almost 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
I was talking about this, and I've just always, I guess just wasn't ready at the time, obviously, but that's okay. So like, I've always, was writing posts about like, oh, who would like to be a part of my model class? And I never brought it to my other social medias. I brought it to Facebook because I knew like I genuinely wanted to do it back home first. So I always would make statuses about that, and I didn't have no plan on like how I was gonna do it, when I was gonna do it, nothing. Like I just kept on talking about it, and for the past 3 years, and I talked about it. I was supposed to be doing something last August, girl. Yeah. That was a year later, and I talked about like, model class is coming, it's coming in like another month, and then I'm like, oh my god, I probably look so stupid because people are probably like, when is it coming? And I'm like, I just didn't do it, so I was, just that type of person at the time, and it just wasn't the right time. But anyways, I started getting more involved and like taking pictures. I took pictures of my boyfriend's sister, Ariana, and I started, getting her into certain things. So that kind of helped me like bring out something in me. Like, I do like to take pictures of other girls. I do kind of like want to develop other models and stuff like that. And I started doing that with my sister, and
which is amazing.
Yeah,
Annalise, you gotta follow her too.
Yes, Annalise,
she's amazing.
And I started doing that with
she's
them.
In the booth with us, by the way. We look at if y'all wonder why we look at, she's in here. She said she's freezing. Usually it's warm in this studio too. Oh my, I'm
Really?
sorry.
You're
I'm
okay,
sorry.
girl. I have nothing on and I'm fine.
It's all good. Look, you look cozy over there. She's chilling. If we'll put her in the show notes. Annalise, she's definitely a dope model as well.
Yes. And I feel like just like doing that and then like always wanting to take pictures of other models and stuff like that. That kind of like the beginning of like the start of it to
Mm-hmm.
where like wow, like I can actually help other
Mm.
women or I can help this and help within this space.
Yeah.
And I started doing, certain things around the Atlanta area where I was, you know, on set with other models and I was helping them out. And then I was just, seeing people post certain things and I'm like, maybe if they did this or did it like that or had a different intention, then it could be like 10 times better. And I'm
Mm.
not trying to come at anybody for their work, but I
Mm-hmm.
just have a different vision for these people. And I'm like, I see like a lot of girls didn't know how to pose on set,
Mm-hmm.
just the concepts were not there. Just everything. I just felt like I wanted to step in and do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I started helping out with a couple little like very very small things like that, and then I ended up doing a I guess like all of this like led up to it, but like I ended up doing a fashion show for Sophia Musier.
Mm-hmm.
She is a signed model to Ursula Wiseman. I always forget to say the last name. But she's signed with a well-known agency in Atlanta. She is from Detroit, Michigan. She ended up moving to Atlanta, and I ended up doing one of her shows. And I just felt like wow, like she's amazing. she's
Mm-hmm.
she's one of me, like, so she really inspired me just to take things up a notch like in
Mm-hmm.
my head, because like it just kind of like
Yes.
opened up a little bit of a different door for me. But just from her fashion show and just seeing her vision that she had come to life, because like
Mm-hmm.
when I first came I was like, oh my god, like what type of show is this and stuff like that, and everything fall into place. So
Is
I
this
feel
the
like
one that was like everything weird or something?
yes,
Okay.
everything
Yeah,
weird,
dope.
and it was so fire. And
So dope.
just being a part of that opportunity and really following through with it,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing her teach all of us. There was so many of us. It was probably like in the beginning there was probably like 35
Oh
models, and
wow.
then like it went to like maybe like 20, 21,
Mm-hmm.
and throughout by the end of the show, and just seeing that really kind of
Put the
inspired,
fuel.
just like the amount of girls that she
Mm-hmm.
was teaching, and just how she was teaching us with everything. She taught us like more runway, and like to just be very weird with things,
Mm-hmm.
and like to just be very open, and
Mm.
not very be closed in. So like it kind of like got me out of my comfort zone a little bit, and I
Yes.
really appreciate that from her, and I want to give her flowers for that. But also um that's like one thing that like, oh my gosh, she's teaching so many girls. Like, I wonder if I could do something like
Mm.
this. But remember how I said like 3 years ago, I did say I
You
wanted to do
said you
something, but
wanted
I
to do
didn't know
it.
how.
Listen.
And then seeing like her vision kind of like made me envision like for that how that would be
I
for
love
me.
that.
And I was like, okay, now I'm starting to have more of the vision, a detailed vision.
Real quick, I got young
Mhm.
Lola, which I'm coming for you
Oh
too,
yeah,
Queen.
we have all the boss
Okay.
ladies on here
I
commenting.
love it. I'm feeling this energy on a Monday is fire.
Yes.
She said, love this. Keep living within your purpose. I love,
Yes.
we got all the queens in the comments.
Yes. And then after that she started having some workshops of her own, and like some classes, and like she does one-on-one runway coaching and stuff like
Okay.
that. So it was just like I see myself in this woman, and
Mm.
I know
That's
that I can
good.
do it, and I know she came from like a smaller town, like like a kind of like similar to me how I came from Erie. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, she's coming to Atlanta and like killing it. So
Mm.
anyways, for me being a part of those things and like being around so many models, it kind of like really was like, wow, I could really do
Could
this.
do
And I
this.
started getting closer to it, and I'm like, wow, I can. And then I started teaching like a little pose section of her workshop and stuff
Mm.
like that. And that really also helped me. And then she had a casting session at her class workshop. And I wasn't even thinking about that because I always wanted to do like a one runway type of thing and like a
Mm-hmm.
branding type of thing or like social media and like posing. Like that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking about casting. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like the way how she's thinking is just amazing. So that really inspired me, and I just wanted to give her flowers. As I made a post earlier on my Instagram, I really wanted to let her know that like she inspired me to add in a casting
Which
session.
was so cool.
But
So cool. I can't wait for you to fully dive in. Real
yes.
quick, I just want to say, just with this whole journey, you're even talking about how like
Mhm.
being connected to her. And this is why it's so
Yeah.
important. Like, I think about how in the beginning you were just talking about, like, even when your own personal life with your family, like you didn't feel like you fit in. But that's why I always tell people, like, it is so important to find your own tribe and create your own community, because like sometimes our family and friends don't make, and I told this in my workshop, that yeah, you're like your family could support you or they might not, but that's why it's so important and so good when you're on your journey and of growing and going after your dreams, to connect with people that are
In the same
like-minded or
way.
in the same space as you, because it really helps in those times of feeling like I'm not ready yet, or those times of being discouraged. You have those people that are able to inspire you and that
Push
and
you.
push you and be like, you know what, like I really want to do something similar to you, and be able to have that resource to go after. So that's why I'm always speaking about
Yes,
create your own tribe and create your own community, because
for
Carlisa is
sure.
showing you right now how important that is to make those connections and
Yes.
use those to your advantage as far as those connections as well.
Yeah. And so like with that casting part, I just had so many ideas flowing through my head. Like, how do
Mm-hmm.
I want to, like, this is
Mm.
so great. Like, I would like to do something and just do this. Obviously, you can get the inspiration, but do things in
Do it
your
your
own
own way.
way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, I got the inspiration from her and I just molded it into my own way.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a thing for that. And then I was started to like outsource, and I flew down here, literally flew down here, came down here, and I was like, you know what? Let me just put a date on this. I was like, I'm
Mm.
just picking whatever date. And I had some things, my son's birthday, we ended up doing it July 15th. So um I planned it like a little bit before, a couple months before that. And I was like, we're going to do this. And I just came up with a random date. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm just going to do it September 16th. I didn't know like why I just picked a day. And
Yes.
I was like contempting like if I should do it during the day or during the weekend, whatever. But I ended up just picking a day. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not changing it. I'm not changing it. I don't
Mm.
care what
I
happens.
love it.
It's going to stay this day. And I started planning it for months. I was just very busy and I just didn't have like the full amount of time to get everything done with it. But I still just kept working on it little by
Mm-hmm.
little every single day. With my kids on my lap, with, going back and forth with them, feeding them and like, cleaning and, doing all this other stuff, doing the shoots and going to photo shoots, going over here. I was just still determined to get this all situated and planned
Mm-hmm.
out. And you can ask my sister, like she was there, like, what are you working on? And I'm like, my class stuff. And I had like everything planned out and I was just like so nervous to like put everything. I was like, oh my God, like, I hope everyone's gonna like be able to like come. And
Yeah.
I was like so scared of like about the pricing.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't know if this is too much because I know like, it's hard here in Erie. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of poverty and stuff like that. I wanted to really make this affordable for
Mm-hmm.
people, but also so I could
But
be
just
able to
know the
come.
price going up, y'all. So
Yeah, that was
it's going up.
it was
It
very
was definitely, she did not, I'm telling you, she did not, yeah.
it was very hard for me to make it happen with doing the price so
Mm-hmm.
low. Because the Airbnb I had to get for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
that was a good amount of money. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I had to pay for flights,
Mm-hmm.
all that type of
So
stuff.
and then I made a post about how I said, you really poured your heart into this. And when I
Mhm.
say that, I meant that, because one, I know on a personal level, because we are friends, so we've talked about the behind the scenes, but also
Yes.
seeing everything come to light, like being
Mhm.
able to be there in person, experiencing this and knowing how hard she's worked, knowing,
Mhm.
like she said, she was the one on her own, guys, that
Yes.
had to, like, I don't know if you guys saw the
I did
post, but we even
everything.
had she had a professional photographer from Atlanta, his girlfriend, who is Nzinga Imani, who I don't know if you guys see, but watch Sisters and Zatima, but that's my girl. And she's a plus size model. But she was here. She had a professional runway coach, Shay the Go, who's from Missouri. And she moved to Atlanta, and she's amazing. Like, she brought like top tier people here on her own dime, still being a mom, still being a girlfriend, still working all these things because she wanted to give back to her city, and she knows that there's potential. There's so many young women that aspire to be models here. Yes. And I'm sure there's a lot of them that didn't even come or didn't want to take that chance, but the ones that did come, yes, they got so much out of this. Even like we talked about how from when they first came in and kind of were like timid and shy and nervous, and then after we just started working with them, like I did my presentation, she was just pouring into them. Shay and the what's his name, Lindell and Nazima, everybody was just pouring into these women, and by the end of the dang day, you couldn't tell them women nothing. Okay. Those women walked out of there with their heads held high. What was the youngest girl that was there?
I had two
14-year-old girls who were shy. I pulled them out, tried to get them out, and their confidence just rose. And it was just because of the atmosphere and the energy and the tools and the wisdom that this team gave. And she did this on her own, like on her own back. Like this was all her, and just it was beautiful. I know you got so much content you about to pour out. So just get ready for all of us who were involved to just keep pouring out content, because it was great.
And y'all, I drove. So I want to tell y'all, like, it's a lot of stuff on the back end where I was like this close to canceling. Like,
that's crazy.
Close. And I was like about to have a whole anxiety attack. I even told my sister, she was like, "Car, chill." And I'm like, this, like, everything is like flowing through me right now. Like, it's just I was just so much going on. So like it was, Lindo was down since day one. Yeah. Like, and Zinga came day one. Like,
awesome. Awesome.
And then I had a runway coach. The first one that I had got, she's really amazing. She's also a dancer and a runway model. So she ended up getting, she told me a little bit in advance as soon as she could, but she ended up getting booked to do a celebrity tour for the backup dancer. So I'm like, girl, go ahead. Like, I'm like, go ahead. It's okay. Like, so then she ended up finding a replacement for me, one of her friends, which I don't know nothing about.
Yeah.
And I was like, trusting her. And I was like, okay, we're going to go with her.
Yeah.
So then I guess, something ended up happening with her a day or two before I had to come here. So I'm like, okay, so there was, I'm not going to say her situation, but she wasn't able to come. And then after that, I'm like, I need the runway coach. Like I can do runway, but I'm not.
You're not.
I'm not the runway girl. I'm commercial. I can tell you guys commercial, e-commerce, print modeling. I can do the music videos with no problem. Like I can do all of that. But runway, I can teach y'all certain things, but she's gonna give the full visual of a runway model.
Now,
yeah, she's gonna give it to y'all. So I needed that. I'm like, I need this. Also, I had the original photographer, because Lindo is mainly a videographer.
Okay.
So he was helping out, but he does take pictures as well. But his main expertise is videographer. So I did also have a videographer I was going to take. He wasn't able to make it as well. So I was like, you know what? I didn't have to take pictures.
Okay.
I've been taking pictures for years, so I'm just going to do it. So I was like, and then I know I'm so picky with everything. It needs to be the way how I want it to be.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's okay. So anyways, I had those 2 cancellations, and then I had to figure something out within hours. So I drove, and I ended up driving to Charlotte. That's where my boyfriend's family stays. So I stayed there with them. A whole situation happened where, his mom wasn't able to get to the house in time. And I had my son with me, my youngest son with me. He ended up he was going to stay at his grandma's house. And then I just drive up to Erie with my sister. So something happened where she wasn't able to come and make it in time. And I'm like, you know what? I have to get to Erie. It's an 8.5-hour drive from Charlotte to Erie, which I just did 4 hours yesterday to drive from Atlanta to Charlotte. So I was like, I'm going to have to take him with me. So I unpacked the car because I had put his stuff in the house. So I had to unpack the car again, repack the car, put all his stuff in, and I had to just take him with me. I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy because he's a mama's boy. He's gonna be on me 24/7, and he's not really too used to my mom. My mom is here, so I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I was like, you know what, I have to take him. So I packed everything, took him with me. That was unplanned. And remember, y'all, I don't have a runway coach at the same time. My mind is going crazy. So I'm literally on my way driving 80 miles per hour, 75 miles per hour.
Thank God
I was supposed, yes, thank goodness. I was supposed to originally work with Shay. She wanted me to be one of her ambassadors for her to coach me for runway. So just, working with her in Atlanta, but we didn't get the chance to because we've both been busy. So I'm like, I didn't meet her in person yet. I never met her in person.
Wow.
So I was like, I posted on my story, I'm using my following because I'm like, listen, I need a runway coach. I will pay for the travel. I already paid for the Airbnb. I need it ASAP. I had like 10 girls hit me up quick like that. And then I was like, well, I hit her up first. She didn't reply back at first. So then I had all these other girls hit me up, and then I was like, I'm waiting for a response from the original person, and blah, blah. So then she ended up getting back to me, and, we were going back and forth. And then she was like, what is this? And like, what is going on? And then I told her the whole rundown and everything like that. And mind you, I wasn't able to pay everyone. Because I, with everything being on a lower budget, I didn't, these people are coming with me for free.
Volunteering their
time. For free. I'm bringing people from Atlanta that get paid hundreds of dollars to do this stuff. Thousands, like
girl,
not thousands,
that
thousands for some things, but lots of money that they get paid to come and do these things. So I'm having them travel to Atlanta. I mean to Erie, Pennsylvania. So anyways, she agrees. Long story short, she agrees to come. And I'm like, oh my God. And then there was I like to do Delta flights, not being on bougie or anything. It's, but I like to do Delta.
That's the only time I've ever flown, and it was with Delta. I don't know if I ever.
And, so I'm like, looking, and I'm like, there's no Delta flight. Like, and I'm like, okay, sis, there's only Spirit or Frontier. And then, my videographer, he ended up finding a Spirit flight. So I was like, girl, to do Spirit. And I was like, some people don't like that. Coming from Atlanta, it's like more of like a luxury type thing. So I'm like, I didn't know. And then so I was like, okay. So I ended up she was fine with that. So I ended up booking her flight. The flight was like $300. You know what I mean? Like that was already off out of the budget that I already had. So I was already like almost digging into my pockets right now. And so I was like, I have to have her come. And so I booked the flight the night before. I'm done driving to Erie on the phone.
Mind you noticed she said she's driving and then flying, which I feel like, even though like and I just feel like from my perspective, even though you weren't maybe able to, give them a financial thing, but being able to even help them with that while you're driving is a big thing. And I think that you should be proud of that for yourself. Like, you were even able to do that, and that's a lot in itself. And, like, and I'm sure they all are appreciative of even that. And I think even just them trusting you in some way and your vision, and also you as a person, your character, because you don't like. They might not have done that for other people, but they trusted, they believed in you and your vision, and they knew that they wanted to be a part of that. And I think that you should definitely give yourself credit. And you don't got to get into all the details.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Of anything else. Yeah. But just hearing that journey of how you, like you said, you almost canceled. And I can speak from experience with my soiree. My team, my friends, I was like, I'm about to cancel this. Like, the sales aren't coming in. But I always like to say, like, if things don't be chaotic before a big thing happens like that, an event that you're putting on, it wasn't meant. So that's how you knew it was supposed to be. Because if you're not facing that adversity, a lot of times it's like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this, because there's a lot going on.
It was so much. But like, long story short, because I can get into everything. But like, so she ended up coming. But anyways, because my videographer ended up already booking a flight, and they booked it prior to so they have a different time. So I had to go to Cleveland to go get them. And I drove by myself, went to go to Cleveland to go get them, come back all the way to Erie, dropped them off at the Airbnb. Later on that evening, this is the day before the class, and I still had to finish the rest of my presentation, and I had to get other things situated. But anyways, in the afternoon for that, I had to drive back to Cleveland, excuse me,
Oh
to go
my
get Shay,
gosh.
and I had to drive all the way back over here again. So I went there 4 times driving, and that was the whole day. And this is the day before the class. And then, timing was getting low, and I was like, "Oh my god, I told the girls to come at 10:30. Like we're not there yet." And then some girls were telling me like they're there, and I'm like, "Oh my god, someone's already there." And then, for like a lot of things in Atlanta, it's okay to just wait an extra, extra time outside. Like it's okay. But I'm like, I don't think they're gonna be used to that, so they're gonna be like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, "No, we need to be there. We need to be there." And then, I wanted to have everything set up before everyone got there, but I was like, you know what? We're just gonna work with it. Everyone just please understand, like, a lot of things were going on behind the scenes that not everyone knew. So we ended up getting in there. The girls were in there. I was so excited to see them. I ended up, I made gift bags for everyone of some clothing that I had from my website. I went to the store, got some snacks and stuff like that. I want to let y'all know that there are a lot of things that go on in Atlanta or like other bigger cities. They don't have drinks. They're not gonna have food. I've been on sets where there was nothing, like not even a bottle of water for you. And it's like, I spent like an extra X amount of money to be able to get that the day of the class. And I was like, I have to have something. I'm gonna feel so awkward. I'm gonna feel like out of place if I don't have something there. And then, but all of us went there. We had an amazing time. Davina did a couple things for me before she even came, got some things printed out. But she ended up coming, and it was just an amazing time. I went over, we went over talking. We went over, Davina did her speech. We went over taking digitals. We went over taking talking about things in the industry. I did like a Q&A with lots of advice, any question that anyone had. We did like the pictures, we did the runway walks, we did literally a lot of the
casting,
full casting,
the mock casting, which was so cool.
That was I
loved that.
That was amazing because
was.
I was like, okay, and then and Zinga was like, girl, I thought she was gonna be a little bit more intense with them, and I was like, I should have, but I'm
you
so
should have, but
I should have. I was like, maybe for the next one,
part two,
it's not gonna be that easy.
Okay.
Next time. So and then I really appreciate these ladies had wore their heels. They didn't know what type of heels. They just put on whatever type of heels. Girl, I seen some of those heels. I said, I was like, I wore those heels before on the set, and those are not the right ones. So, to be wearing those heels for like almost 7 hours, 6.5 hours, and have those heels
poor babies, they babies was crying.
They were tripping. They were like feet, and I was like, I know,
but
girl.
they pushed through. Like everybody pushed through.
They did.
Even because the runway walk was one of the last things, and
y'all feet was already hurting before that.
They pushed. So shout out to you queens that were there. That really, y'all listen. They invested in themselves, and I think I said it earlier, and they really took advantage of this class. And I just hope that even them connecting with their friends and seeing them on social media like really inspires those who wanted to do this class, and maybe I don't know what stopped you, but like I hope that this is just the push you need to next time, because she gonna bring it back.
I tried to do as much as I could to really help.
Try, girl, you did.
Like, listen, y'all need to come. You guys need to come.
But it's okay. Who was supposed to be there? I always say this. Who's supposed to be there is there, and they were all supposed to be there. And I know it's only gonna get better.
And like I even went even further with everything. Like I created the whole vision for each of the models. I did. My sister, I just gave her like a little rundown, and then she just created the whole vision. And
she told me I should be a commercial model and a fashion model. Fashion. So that's why I made That's So Divina. Y'all better follow me, because when I blow up, y'all gonna be looking crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, come on and speak over my life. Oh, speak over my life.
And the thing.
Oh yes, I want it all.
And the thing is that I went through a lot of everyone's social medias, and I'm like, I'm getting up, social media content queen.
Yeah, she's the content
like,
queen.
I'm like, you said what? Yeah, she
Yeah.
don't never, she be trying to listen, but she listens here whenever she wants to. And then when I show her what I'm talking about, like that one picture from Sophia's thing, yeah, it blew up. And
Oh,
so like just listen to the vision I
listen,
have.
she been
And
doing this since she came out the womb. So
yeah,
at this point, she
literally.
knows what she's doing.
And I wanted to like really brand and like help everyone at least structure their social media account.
Yes. Yeah.
And I went over that yesterday. I did a Zoom call the day before the class,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a Zoom call the day before
After.
after the class. And
Mm-hmm.
who does that? Like,
No.
who's doing that? No
Not for
one's
no
doing. They're just
$200.
having you do the class, and that's it. They
That's
ain't saying
it.
nothing else to you.
No,
I
she
have a
yes.
group that we're still talking in. I
Yeah.
have the mood boards for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
the agency recommendations,
Yeah.
management companies.
And then she went and gave away, guys. Like yesterday on the Zoom call, she gave away 4 like they'll work with you one-on-one.
Yes, we're doing
For
photo shoot.
yeah,
They have
photo
their
shoot
hair,
with
makeup,
Wendell, who is
styling.
a professional photographer,
Yes,
videographer.
yes,
And
we're
they'll
gonna
do
get
all,
it.
and she'll, what you said, they'll get all the hair and makeup.
Yes,
And that was just an
styling.
added bonus. So like, you guys, they got so much. We got, because I sometimes forget I was not just a part, I was in it.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, they got so much value out of this class. And I don't think I don't think we realize how, some of us realize how big of a deal this is for our city. Sometimes we are behind, and that's just the realness of things. And people do deem our city as like dreary, eerie, and things like that. But there are people like Carlisa, and there's so many other people that I connected with that do want to give back to our city, do have left and learned so much and made so many connections, and still believe that there's hope in this city.
Yes.
And they want to pour back into the city. So like, when you feel like you're seeing so many people talking negative about our city, yes, there's a lot that's going on that is unfortunate, but there are people that still believe that there's so many things that can happen in this city. And I just, like I said, I want to commend you still to this day on just you bringing this back, because you literally could have did this in Atlanta, charge way more,
Yes.
and like probably had even more people, but you definitely brought it back here. And I just think that's amazing. And definitely connect with her, like follow her on her social media as well. So I do, before I let you go, I have a few questions to ask you. So I always like to ask a few questions. And the first one is, along this modeling journey, I always like to ask, what does confidence look like to you along this journey that you've been on?
I feel like
And listen, it could be what it looks like now for you versus
yeah,
what it looked like before.
yeah, I just feel like confidence is really like owning yourself, really finding who you truly are, believing in yourself, knowing that you are beautiful inside and out. Don't compare yourselves to anyone. Always own the room, like, always own everything, and just know that you're that girl regardless of where you come from, however you look, whatever family you came from, whatever anyone says. Always hold your head up high, and like, it's just a big old ball of that, like, just having the confidence, and the confidence will speak for you when you walk into a space. And everyone's gonna be able to know that, because during the class, I seen a lot of like very low confidence in the beginning of the class. Everyone was very like closed in and like, like this, and like just very, very, very shy. And by the time at the end of the class, after your speech, and the things that I had taught them, girl, everyone was walking around like,
listen, like, you
and
can't
and
tell
then the
me
content.
nothing.
So like
Yeah.
that's like a big thing, how I feel like, being confident and like really just stepping into your own power and embracing the woman that you are and your feminine side, for sure.
I love that. That's a great, I'll take that answer. Okay. And the other question I always like to ask is, at this age, with everything you've gone through, with all your accomplishments and everything, what would you tell little Carlisa that used to be on her laptop outside in the cold? Like, what would you tell her?
So I wanted to say, just to make it more, real. My real name is Carly, but
Carly.
I go, yeah.
Okay. So I know I call you
Carly.
Carly, but wait, so your real name is actually Carly?
Yes.
And you named yourself Carlisa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like my papa used to be like, he just used to be like Carlita and like saying all this other stuff. So I was just like, I didn't like that on there. So I just put the S on there. I was like, Carlisa is fine.
So what is your ethnicity?
Girl, I'm a little bit of everything.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah, I just so as on my mom's side, she is Sicilian and Polish.
Okay.
So and on my dad's side is more like a Puerto Rican side.
Okay.
So like I have a lot of stuff with like my father, like it's a very long story.
Yeah,
my sister can even vouch for me. You know, like a lot of things, father, you know, this is my father, this is not, you know, like kind of things like that. I'm not trying to get into too deep.
Yeah, you could.
But yeah, so I had a very hard time with that growing up. But you know, yeah.
What would you tell yourself?
We got down to the results.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What was that? You know.
Yes,
but yeah, so that's how I came up with my name. And from my papa on my mom's side.
Wow.
I just before I had came up with that, I just because it's like basically my name with just the S at the end. I mean SA at the end. And it just was like more flavor to it.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like Carly. Just it was just like too plain for me. And it was like Carly,
like no, I am Carly. But
now, I would say now I've learned to embrace Carly. So like sometimes I don't mind being called. It's like, you know.
See, I always thought like that. Carly was the like, you know, like
a lot of people
Vina.
It's
like I didn't know. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow, you learn something new every day.
Yeah. So, but like so that's like a thing. But I just wanted to tell y'all, like I went through like multiple different names. So I've always had like a little like stage model name, I guess that's what you say. But I used to go by like Mommy So Sick when I was on Facebook and my Tumblr. Mommy So Sick with like 2 I's, 2 O's, 2 I's, like extra. And then I used to go by Princess Love. And then I used to go by Carlisa Love. That was like a thing. I feel like that was kind of inspired by India Love because at that time I really just, you know, she's always been and still is that girl.
Yeah.
And I love how she doesn't care what anybody says and is still doing like whatever she wants to do, whatever she wants to do. And but those are like, and then I just was like, you know what, I was just so over the love part. And I was like, I just didn't want to affiliate with that anymore. So I was like, my actual real middle name is Lynn. So I just put like Lynn on there and I was like, I like it.
Okay. But, wow. Learn something new. So what would you tell young Carly?
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that's it. I was like, just to envision it more. Wow, like, you know.
I definitely did not. That's crazy.
Yeah, you asked the question. I'm being honest.
I love it.
But yeah, I mean, a big thing I would just say, like, I'm just proud. That's really like, because I'm getting emotional. But that's
okay. I done had people cry on this podcast.
Sagittarius, yeah. You know, it's a lot of emotion.
Yes.
But yeah, I would just say I'm really proud of myself and. I wouldn't have thought that I would have came this far, but I kind of would have, but like, you know, not in the way that I thought. And, you know, just to always, you know, I'm just proud that I really believed in myself, but nobody else did. And there's still people that don't believe in you and like don't believe in me or like just kind of like you do something major and then just brush it off, or it's just like a very bland, like blah type of like reaction to everything. And it's like if I would have let those things control the way I was going, I would never be here today. So, you know, I'm really proud of myself for like continuing to just go with the flow and always go with the flow and just trust myself through every, you know, hard challenge and, you know, with everything trying to come in my way, I just still push through. So I'm really just happy to say that I just stuck with it.
I love it. Went through. I think that's good. It's good to tell your younger self you're proud of her. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that. So I always like to leave room for you to, and anything I would say the crown or the mic, the royal throne is yours. So is there anything that maybe you wish I would have said, anything you want to say that, you know, the mic is yours. So go off if you got anything else before we wrap this up.
I could talk all day. So
well, be like short and sweet, baby. Short and sweet.
Yeah. Just give me like a
short and sweet. That's what I like. A little short thing you
yes.
might have wanted to say.
Um, just okay. I have a million things I could say, but I'm gonna just say
Pick one.
whatever right now. I have another episode now.
Yeah, we gonna definitely have you back
Um,
on.
but yeah, I just wanted to say, just learn, just know to really trust the visions that are
Mm-hmm.
your visions. They're your visions for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and not everyone's going to understand those visions. So don't waste your time trying to explain people,
Mm-hmm.
or get frustrated or depressed or stressed out due to people not understanding what you're saying or where you're trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that and God gave you that gift and that vision for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, just go with it no matter what, even if you lose everyone along the way and you
Mm-hmm.
just only have yourself, as we do come into this world by ourselves for a reason, and we're going to leave this earth by ourselves as well. So that's what I would just really say. Just trust your visions, regardless of what anyone else thinks, feels, or has to say.
I love
And
that.
let go of the string. Let go.
Let
Just
go the
learn to let
string.
go. You're gonna have to struggle to get to where you want to get to, and
Mm-hmm.
that's with. I know y'all hear that with everyone's
Mm-hmm.
story. You're gonna have to struggle.
And
Don't don't try
it's
to
the
fight it.
truth. Don't fight it. Just push through the pain. Push through it. Well, Carlisa Lynn, Carly, I just want to take the time to give you your flowers and tell you,
Thank you.
not only are you proud of you, but I'm so proud of you. I'm so grateful for the connection that we have. And I'm just so inspired by you. I'm so proud of you finally, accomplishing one of your dreams. And I just know that this is only the beginning for you. And I can't wait to see what is next for you. So thank you for, taking the time to be on this Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast and being truly real, honest, open, and transparent. Okay, which I already knew how it was gonna be.
I don't have a problem with
But
anything.
yes, but thank you so much. And thank you for everyone who tuned in. I was like, I don't know, like I know people are at work, but those who tuned in, those who will watch and listen later, I appreciate your time. And just remember to like this video, share this video, subscribe to Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast. I also put all the links to Carlisa's information, so you can follow her on YouTube and on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook as well, and just stay connected. All the things. Okay, we are everywhere. So just make sure you tap in with us and get inspired to just keep doing and going after your dreams. And until next time, remember, you are divinely crowned.